What you do?
What does it look like I'm doing?
Making a Game and Browse video?
That may be the case, but, well, actually knowing how this has gone the last couple of times, I'm not going to be playing Pikmin 2, right?
There's a better game we could play.
Actually, we already have a game to play.
Oh, just play it.
What is it?
Friends, the one with all the trivia.
Oh, God. All right. Okay, well, I mean, we spent all of last year watching Friends on Blu-ray, so it could be worse, right?
And it's hosted by your favorite character, Janice.
Oh, yeah. Right, the game.
So no one told you games were gonna play this way. That game's a joke, you're bored, but you need it for review. It's like you're always stuck as player two. When the game is lagging, cheap in boxes like a cow's pointed moo. Well, we'll be there for you. When there's games too, we'll be there for you. Looking at the toy boxes, we'll be there for you. Game Browse on YouTube.
Could there be any more copyright infringement?
Hello, I'm Joey Tribbiani. Let's play Bamboozled.
Not that one. Friends, the one with all the trivia, was developed by Artex Studios and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment for the totally whack PlayStation 2 and Windows PC. The game was released on November 15th, 2005, which puts this game firmly after the series' conclusion on May 6th, 2004. Which is great, since a trivia game should realistically include everything about its respective topic. But I guess that also means spoiler warning if you haven't finished the series? However, that grace period is also over. The show ended over 15 years ago, for Pete's sake, and is one of the most well-known sitcoms of all time.
Okay, so when we start up the game, we're met with the Friends theme song, which we will not be playing for you today for obvious reasons. This is similar to the theme song montage that plays before each episode, but strangely enough, all of the clips from actual episodes have been edited out. The game then takes you to the title screen, where you float around a lifeless gray New York skyline, which really shows off the game's $10 art budget. Alright, let's take a look at the menu now. So, Quick Start literally just throws you into a round of Friends trivia. No fluff, just hardcore question and answer. However, if you like some variety in your trivia, there are some customizable options within the game. First of all, the difficulty of the questions asked is based on coffee, obviously, with the light roast option producing the easiest questions, medium roast being in the middle, and the dark roast questions being the most difficult. And to give you the most thorough review of Friends, the one with all the trivia, we of course played all three difficulties. We can assure you, without a doubt, that the dark roast questions are quite difficult. Take this one, for example.
Useless information.
What's Ursula's middle name?
What? That's a deep cut. Only a friend's Rolodex would get that one correct.
Oh no.
If you're playing the game with a friend, you and your partner can decide on if you want to play a game of singles, doubles, or triples, which refer to the amount of windows that you have to light up on the apartment building scoreboard. You, as the player, have to light up windows by answering trivia questions correctly. When you get to the end of your window row, you can enter Central Perk, where you have to answer one more question correctly in the actual coffee shop in order to win the game. It's worth noting that if you play a game of triples, you better be ready for the long haul, like Ross and Rachel 10-season on and off again relationship long haul, because it's gonna take a while to get all of those windows lit up. For your style of play, you have a few different options: All Play or Buzz In, both of which are pretty self-explanatory. All Play means that everybody gets a chance to answer, and Buzz In only allows the quicker player to take a chance at answering the question. Oh, by the way, if you get an answer wrong, you will fall back a window space, so be careful about just buzzing in for the heck of it. Also, you can only advance a window space when it's your turn, so this means you're only going to make progress when you're on a correct answer streak. Combining some of these game options is truly insane. A triple dark roast game on buzz-in mode? Literally only for the most hardcore of Friends fans. We love this show, but even this was too much for us to bother finishing, so needless to say, we took a break.
While
We were on a break!
we played around with the single player mode as well, which has one notable difference, the addition of a timed mode. If you play in caffeinated mode, the game will give you as many questions as you can answer correctly within a certain amount of time. Similarly, the decaffeinated mode does not give you a time limit for your questions. Speaking of, the questions within Friends, the one with all the trivia, are sorted into many different categories. Some of these categories include relationships, memorable moments, and friends of friends, all of which encompass different types of questions. Many of the questions that are asked are accompanied by sound and video clips, which is super fun because it feels like you're getting to watch the series all over again. Upon winning a game of trivia, you're rewarded with a short interview clip with one of the cast members or one of the brains behind Friends, like creators David Crane and Marta Kaufman. While that is a nice touch, the whole thing feels very low budget. The interviews keep talking like this game is supposed to be something much bigger and more grand. But honestly, the game runs itself out of favor in a short time. The manual claims that the game tracks the questions you've been given if you're signed into a profile. But it didn't really do that for us. We actually got quite a few repeated questions in the couple of hours that we spent playing this game. Friends, the one with all the trivia, honestly feels like it should be a pack-in title with a box set of Friends, or something like that. Well, actually, that was supposed to be the case. It was originally intended to be the companion piece to The One with All 10 Seasons, which was a complete DVD set that came out just a month prior to the game's release. The game even has a trailer baked into it that advertises the whole series in its respective DVD season sets and talks about the games and trivia that are featured on those discs. Granted, those are lower-end DVD games, but it's not exactly like this game took advantage of being on a PS2 either, especially when compared to another trivia series like Buzz, which came out around the same time. For a trivia game, Friends is
Totally fine!
But for the whopping $4 we paid on eBay, I guess we can't say we got ripped off. But it's definitely not worth what it probably cost at the time of release, though. Well, anyway, that's probably it for the entirety of Friends trivia. And that was okay, I guess, but there really wasn't much to the game. I was hoping for a little more depth, one that made me feel like I was part of the show and its legacy. I wanted to play Friends.
In that case, I think I've got an idea. Pack your bags. Let's go.
It's not 15 Yemen Road, Yemen.
It's actually much better because we are in Chicago and going to visit the Friends experience on the Magnificent Mile.
And to that point, I would like to bring up a new series that we're going to introduce called Game and Vlog. So let's roll that intro. So to introduce Game and Vlog, it's just going to be a sporadic series that we're going to do every now and then whenever we have something fun that we want to share on the channel. We're not changing into a vlog channel or anything, but we figured this would be the perfect companion piece because we think you'll absolutely enjoy this next part if you're a Friends fan. So let's go ahead and get that started.
So anyway, welcome to the Magnificent Mile. The Friends experience is a pop-up attraction found at the corner of Michigan and Ohio Street, built inside the ground floor of the shops at Northbridge Complex in Chicago, Illinois. The windows leading up to the building showcase Friends artwork, photos, merchandise offerings, and of course a marquee to let you know that you've arrived. Fun fact, there's also a flagship Friends Experience sister location in New York City. Once inside, you're sent up a huge escalator to the main attraction. Famous quotes and portraits of the characters line the walls on your way up. The exhibit itself features recreations of sets, props, and many other displays, all of which celebrate the legacy of the Friends sitcom. Staff members are poised at each station and ready to take photos for you while you recreate some of the most famous scenes from Friends. While on the topic, big shout out to the staff at the Chicago Pop-Up for being sweet, helpful, and dedicated to keeping the exhibit clean for all in attendance. Strike that. Not just clean, Monica clean. In between the major set recreations, you can find props and behind-the-scenes stories about the series. Basically, this is a bunch of stuff that any fan of Friends would enjoy. Some samples include wardrobe mock-ups, the infamous note from Rachel to Ross, Science Boy comic strips, the turkey head, and countless other references to the show's decade-long dominance. Seriously, the amount of stuff to gaze over was astounding and highly entertaining. Rewatching this footage from home has been such a treat because I keep picking up new things that I missed the first time around.
There's even a trivia section at the Friends Experience that you can play through. Thankfully, it's not narrated by Janice. That said, she does make an appearance at the beginning when they show you a video to introduce the concept behind the Friends Experience. However, as with quite a few things in this episode, it's copyrighted, so it ended up being one of the few things I could not record. Oops. The biggest draw to the experience were the faithfully recreated sets where you could have your photos taken by the staff. You can sit on the orange couch from the show's title sequence, pivot up the stairwell with Ross's new sofa, kick back in Joey and Chandler's Barca-Loungers, converse at the table in Monica's apartment kitchen, poke Ugly Naked Guy from the balcony, and of course grab a coffee at Central Perk. And that's not all. There are still plenty of other opportunities to relive your favorite moments around New York, so to speak. The only regret I have regarding photos is that masks are heavily enforced, so if you're hoping for a more normalized experience, you might have to wait for subsequent versions of the Friends Experience, if they exist. Currently, the Chicago version is slated to pack it up at the end of May 2021, and the New York one is currently booking through Labor Day weekend of this year as well. Ultimately, there's nothing that can really be done about this, obviously, as it is just a facet of the times that we live in. So if you plan to attend, keep this in mind. However, do not let it dampen your experience. The pop-up as a whole is fantastic and is worth a visit if you love the series like we do.
No trip is complete without a souvenir, right? As for merchandise, the Friends Experience has you covered. From Joey's penguin pal Hugsy to crap bags and everything in between, you'll surely find something at the pop-up's expansive store that strikes your friend's fancy. In order for transactions to move quickly and to reduce the touching of the actual items, the store has you fill out an order card with what you want, pass it off to a team member, and then they'll gather your order for you, allowing for a quick and easy transaction. We even found Hammond some Friends merchandise in Chicago. What do you think, boy?
The final thing that you can do at the Friends Experience is visit the highly detailed LEGO recreation of Central Perk. As someone who loves a good LEGO set, this was amazing to see in person. The set features over 900,000 bricks and took the crew 4 months to build. You can even sit on the orange couch here as well. Granted, it's not as comfy though. Either way, this is an area you should not miss. It definitely beats the Central Perk set that I built earlier this year.
In conclusion, if you're a Friends mega fan, this is a must-see for you. Even if you're not a crazy huge fan of the show, but you enjoy it in some capacity, it's still a really fun opportunity to celebrate the beloved sitcom. Remember how earlier in the episode we said we wanted to play Friends? Well, the one in Chicago actually lets you do that. So if you're in the New York or Chicago area, you should consider checking it out. Or if you're a mega fan, consider taking a trip with your lobster so you don't miss out on the fun.
Or if you just want something cheaper, consider picking up the game. It cost us a whopping $5, so it might be worth inviting over some of your own friends and seeing how well you know Friends trivia. Anyway, thanks for joining us here today on Game & Browse. If you like this video, please consider giving us a like and commenting to help our channel grow. You can also help by subscribing for more content in the future. As always, thanks for watching.